teenager, young adulty.
Okay, boy.
One was a boy. Yeah. Okay. He had a baseball cap on. He was right there. I just saw him flash, walk kind of past there. And then I just saw one. It was a girl. It was actually reminded me a lot of Alex.
There are some gifts I'm glad I don't have.
I have full body children.
Same.
It reminded me of Alex so much. I was almost thinking it was you, but
You're not dead.
Reminded of me. Oh, I wonder if they're both mine.
yeah, I think so.
Cool.
What do you mean yours?
Well, the boy's mine. He comes with me. He's mine.
Okay, this is a friend.
You know. You know.
Did you eat all the gummy bears?
She did. She did it. She had all of them.
Nor.
Wow, interesting that we had technical difficulties and you saw some ghosties here.
Is your dude a little trickster?
Yes, he is. He's a
Fucking
trickster.
guy.
You know what's so funny?
This fucking guy.
You know what's so funny too is I was thinking the whole time we were recording, I was feeling like something just felt not right.
Listen, you.
And then when you were saying no one could hear us, I was like, of course we're talking about tarot and kind of getting into this kind of more actual spooky stuff, you know. So naturally there's going to be
some hiccups.
Yeah, but if my guy's here,
Whoa.
then yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Am
right.
I cold?
Yeah, right.
Right. I'm cold too now.
Right.
Are you cold?
Yes. But it's right here. It's right here.
Is he sitting in your lap right now?
You tell us.
You see him?
Are you posing a statement in the form of a question to make me feel safer?
Now I feel like this conversation has to change.
Yeah.
Because
So we'll recap. Yeah, we can't go back.
No, that conversation is lost because right now I want to understand what is
going
happening
on
right
now.
Same.
We were
We'll
talking
come
about
back
the
to
tarot.
You come back next week
Yeah,
or
I'll come
whatever.
back.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to redo the tarot.
We'll do the
Because
digress.
something just happened here.
We're delineating.
Do you want me to tap in a little bit?
Sure.
Yes.
Why am I so... I feel something right now.
He's not. It's because you're nervous. He likes to play with people
Don't-
when they're nervous.
Don't stick up for him. This kid ruined our talk. Don't stick up for him.
He's a little-
I'm not afraid of a little twerp ghost, okay? Don't fucking tell
Let me tune in a little bit.
I'm just saying what I'm feeling, and I'm feeling electric cold. And
Yeah.
I didn't
right
expect
here.
it today.
Yeah, it's over here.
Oh, you.
It's over here. It's where it was. Yeah. Well, what is it that you what question would you have?
Why?
Why?
Why did you miss the microphone?
Fun.
Yeah.
Tell me what's
Absolute
going on.
fun.
Sure.
Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute.
So it was
fun.
him?
So we're
Or
wondering.
were we being dumb? Was it us?
Is it?
Well, we've set this up weeks and weeks and weeks in a row, same exact way with no problem. I checked everything before we started. So it is odd that it happened that way, just on that level. I'm even seeing moving around, turning knobs. There's some trickster energy. Next time we need to do some saging and some.
Just ask nicely, maybe.
He can interact with things. Yeah.
Well, the weird thing is I haven't seen him here yet. That he's not one that I've noticed, and it was honestly it was before anybody got here, so it was just me in the space, and I saw a flash, and I was just like, "What's up?" I mean, it doesn't bother. At this point, I'm just like, "Yeah, of course, there's spirits here. That's normal." So I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think to say anything about it. But are they brother and sister even?
I don't think so. If this is who I think it is, then it's my grandfather's brother who died as a teenager. So, and I'll share the story of how he came into my life.
Okay.
So my grandfather came to stay with my family at our house for a couple weeks, and he stayed in my little sister's bedroom. And one day, while he was there, my mom heard him talking and went into the room to see why he was talking. And she opened the door, and he like stopped and like looked at her, and she goes, "Oh, you must be praying." And he said, "I'm not praying. I'm talking to my mom, who is deceased." And this is just a practice that he has of talking to his mom. But this boy, this brother of his, spends time, hangs around with the mom. Like he kind of goes where she goes. So the idea is when my grandfather was talking to his mom, he invited her there, and thus his brother as well. But like his brother liked being there because he could play tricks on us, and it freaked us out, and it was fun for him, and so he stayed, or he would come sometimes. He didn't like stay there permanently. He like goes where he wants, but he would come and just like play tricks on us.
I keep seeing like going in a circle. For some reason, it's like there's something significant about moving in a circle. I don't know if that resonates with you or anything like games he played.
So my sister's room had 2 doors. The door to the bathroom and then the door out of the room. And one time my sister was in the bathroom, and she was trying to go into her room from the bathroom, and the lock is in there, and she unlocked the door and went to like try to open the door, and she could feel somebody holding the door, not letting her in. And she thought it was my sister, and she saw a shadow underneath the door, and like said, "Hey, stop, let me in," thinking it was my sister. They were the only 2 home. And then the shadow left, and she was suddenly able to go in, and she like went around to like follow my sister and like be like, "What the hell?" And then my sister was not home. She was walking the dog. So I don't know if that like that's a signal, like that was the area that he played in, was like kind of around these 2 doors and like back and forth between them. Another time it was same bathroom, my sister in the tub, and I remember this. And he there was a knocking sound from the kitchen wall that I heard, which is connected to the bathroom, like the wall that shares the bathroom. So I thought maybe my sister needed something. She's knocking on the kitchen wall to get someone's attention. So I went into the bedroom, my sister's bedroom, and went to the bathroom door, and I knocked on the door, and I said, "Hey, did you need something?" And she goes, "Who was knocking?" And I go, "You were knocking." And then I don't think I heard her say anything else, but right behind me I heard like running little pitter-pattering feet. And I turned around and I was like, "Oh shit." I ran out of the room because there was nothing there.
Well, I mean, the only thing that I really picked up on was just, younger male energy that was like mischievous, ball cap, and
I've invoked him.
I don't feel anything like a super pressing or urgent, like no urgent messages or things like that. It's just like very trickstery.
Just comes and hangs out sometimes. And he loves to have his story told. Like, so like anytime I am gonna tell his story, it's almost like it invites him too. And we have a theory that he stayed at Kelly's house for a while because I told his story at Kelly's house, and so like his energy got like invited because she was super open and like into the story, and then like she kept having like weird trickstery stuff happening for a while until I like told her she had to be firm and tell him to leave.
I'm feeling like something on like my back, like the right side of my back, almost like a tightness or like something in the chest area. Do you know how he passed?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'll have to ask.
Something about like, it feels like chest, like maybe the lungs, but more on this side than this side.
Yeah, it might have been like sickness. It might have been some kind of sickness with the lungs, but I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay.
What's your experience with all this?
Ghosts.
Yeah.
I remember having like experiences as a kid. I think there was like a older man that passed away in my household, or growing up, the house I grew up in. I'm not really sure. I grew up in New England. Everything's old there.
Super haunted.
Super haunted. So, could be anything, honestly. But I think when I was a kid, I knew I was sensitive, and it scared me. So I like shut it off. I really did, because I didn't want to see anything, but I could feel it. And there were times, I'm getting chills right now, we're just thinking about it. That's how I experience energies, is like I get full body chills. And I remember a couple different occasions of like being in my room at night and just absolutely feeling like there was something in there with me. Of course, I was a kid, so I was like, maybe it's my imagination, but I just couldn't help but feel it. And I remember one night, it happened often actually, but it's just one night in particular I really remember, because at one point growing up, my bed was kind of in the corner of like the room, so if I rolled over, I'd be like facing the corner of the room, and then if I turned around, I'd be facing the far side of the room with the bedroom door, and I would always keep my door open.
It should so, yes.
Yeah.
Good catch.
But there were nights where I'd be like falling asleep and like facing the wall, and I would hear my door opening, and I would turn and look, and like nothing was there. I grew up in a house with like dogs and things, so it was like whatever.
Clearly things. Dogs and things. Emphasis on the things.
Yeah, and I just like remember one night getting a really bad feeling because I kept looking and it would stop right when I looked. I swear to God. And then I would like turn and I would hear it creak. It was like exaggerated. And then I remember when I was just like, could you just not?
Yeah. Rude.
I just like learned that I could like talk to it instead of being afraid of it.
Yeah.
But I would have dreams a lot. Like after, and it's probably maybe conditioned, you know, maybe it's my subconscious, but I would just have dreams of like a man in the basement or in my room, and I don't remember what he looked like. It was more of like just like a figure. Oh, I'm getting full chills just talking about it right now. But I don't know. I just made this agreement with God early on, like I understand, I can feel it, but I don't want to see it. Because I was just so afraid.
Fair.
But I've had some experiences.
Well, I think that's important in really grounding is what you say goes whenever it comes to that.
Yeah.
What you allow, you allow. What you don't, you don't. Period. Like there's no pushback ever on those kinds of things.
I mean, when we opened this place and we were having experiences with the hutch, with Hannah in the hutch, I would get the feeling, and it was more, I never saw anything, but I would hear it. And I would feel it. Like when I walked in one day, it felt like she rushed me at the door. And I just got like a surge of energy. I was like, whoa, what was that? And then I heard a voice. I couldn't hear what it said, but it was a voice, like someone was here with me. And it was like right here, you know? And it full electric, like chills. And I was like, okay. And I put the shit down and I left. I was like, nope, I don't want to see it. Don't want to see it. I walked around with bells for like a few weeks after that, and he was like, nope, go back to where you come from. Like, go back to the unseen. You're too close to me.
Bells are good, or even like clapping in the corners is good if you don't have any like tools. Clapping it out.
This I did not know.
Yeah. The bells were the agreement with Hannah that you can be here, you can enjoy it, but if I hear you or feel you, I'm ringing this bell so you know to go back to the unseen because you're too close.
Yeah.
Get back.
Get back.
Get back.
Get back to
I don't know you like that.
You don't know me like that.
Thank you.
But I've heard like disembodied voices. I think that's the most I've experienced with like the
Auditory.
unseen. Yeah.
Clairaudience.
Clear audience. Yeah.
I
don't
think
appreciate it.
if there's some way to make it even more like real in the effort of like kind of explaining what's going on, because sometimes understanding it helps to take away the fear of it, you know? If you think about it, like we are the cells, our genetic components are the people who came before us in our bodies. So all of our ancestors make what we are right now on both our mom and dad's side. And at the same time, what appears to be invisible space between me and you is not. It is a field. And so everything that has crossed in this space, there's still a memory of that in the space around us. So just like our bodies are the outcome of our genetic ancestry, our spaces also have a history, because there is nothing that is, everything is energy. There is nothing that is solid, and even if it's invisible, it doesn't make it less real. And so sometimes depending on your frequency or what you're able to become aware of, you can sense the more subtle communications. Just like you can sense, I've got my grandma's cheeks, you know, I've got my dad's eyebrows. Just like you can sense that, you can hear the reverberations of the patterns that went before. And so I think that's one way to kind of, I don't know if that's like super existential and inaccessible, but one way to think of it.
That's how I've thought about that in the past. You know, I feel like space, especially like hauntings, if you think of a haunting in a specific place, that is a memory the space holds. That's
Right.
how I think of it, at least.
Right.
You know?
And if your frequency or and a lot of times what it is just intrigue, it's just curiosity, it's just openness, mixed with and then that mixed with a little bit of the fear. So if your frequency and your vibration is on that level, you're going to match that experience. Whereas you could interact, like, I think the reason why I interact with that and I didn't even say anything is because it's such a common thing for me to be aware, especially in this space, because so many people who are here are open-minded to more than just the five senses and the concrete physical reality that we live in. So it's almost like the space itself is more open to that. But I think somebody could interact with a being or a whisper of some type of entity that does instill fear if you're connecting on that vibration, and the same person could interact with that same vibration and it be like a nothing. It could be like, what up, moving on, you know, depending on the level of charge within you that you feel toward those aspects.
Yeah. What about you?
Not many. I'd say like the strongest one I've ever had was when I was, picture it, Sicily.
Ooh,
I'm
there.
You're there. It was probably like 2011, 2012. I was in an old family home and I was by myself and I was whistling. And whistling is kind of like a weird, I don't know if it's like a genetic trait, but I know my sister can't do it, but my dad's a really good whistler. I can whistle. So I'm pretty sure it was like the house he grew up in or was like born in or somewhere near it. And I was whistling and then all of a sudden I just heard someone like respond to my whistle. Meanwhile, it was like 9 o'clock at night. I was in the middle of nowhere. So there was no really like houses around me. And I just was like, nice to meet you. I'm probably like your nephew. I'm going to sleep. Please be quiet. And then I went to bed. So that's probably like the most like concrete experience I've ever had. Other than that, I mean, there's been like the random, like I was in a hotel in Rome one time. I woke up, turned over, I saw like this guy standing over the bed next to me, and I just rolled back over and went to sleep. I was just like,
Bye.
I have to be sober tomorrow morning.
You will not mess up my
Yes.
It's giving a nope.
Right. So just stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of it. I haven't really had any major experiences, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So.
Yeah, I would say that I haven't had major experiences either, aside from my experiences with this guy. And those have happened, you know, there's been plenty. I never have seen him. I don't know what he looks like. I've only had him play tricks on me and like, you know, experienced the anxiousness that those tricks created. I did talk about another ghost experience that I had recently after going to St. Augustine, where I just knew that there was a ghost that had followed me home and was like hanging out.
And St. Augustine's like a pretty haunted place,
Yeah,
right?
It's like
Yeah.
known for
And while I was there, I went with partial intention to play with what does interacting with ghosts look like with me for me, because it's not something that I've done a whole lot because I do have general fear around it. And I think like what I learned that is tolerable for me is it's the same way that I interact with people's energy. I feel it. Only when it's with ghosts, it makes me feel sick. it like creates an instant sick feeling within me. It's not the same as like feeling someone who's alive and like being able to like tap into like their specific uniqueness of their energy. I'm just tapping into like this denser, maybe it's not denser, I don't really know, it's just an energy. Maybe it's because it's less dense that it just creates like sickness within me, like just like a sense of like, you know, get out.
When you connect to the energy of death.
Yeah, and then sometimes pain too, that I'll feel here. Yeah, and that's as far as I'm willing to explore. I don't think I'm willing to
Have you always?
see.
Yeah. Have you always been able to see it?
Me? No, I haven't. I think so. When I was a kid, I was fully like open, and then I remember this one like very like hellish vision I kept getting that was like people almost like moving like this, their bodies moving like this, and I have this like really specific vision where there was many people, they're like lined up, they're like almost like hanging from the ceiling, and they're moving their bodies very much in like this formation, and I was
Sounds
just like
the showcase.
it is a very devil card energy.
Sounds like people doing a body wave.
Yeah, it is like that.
A body roll in a line, and other people are watching.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And I was just like in the moment when I was like, you know, I don't know, 7. I'm just like, no, let's not. I don't want this anymore. So I turned it off, you know. But then when I started opening up my intuition and tapping into things, it's just very like purposeful. So it's like it's weird because I have no charge or I have no emotional charge around interacting with any kind of spirit or being, because I'm very like, why are you here? What are you telling? Like, what is the point of this? Is this just for fun? Are we just being silly? Okay, like I just am very
You have a checklist.
yeah. I'm just
State
very
your name,
right. Name.
and
What do you
intention.
want?
How long will you be here? What are you going to
What
do?
do you need to say? Okay,
is
move on.
this vacation or is this business?
Exactly. So I don't find myself
Border
like
control.
To border control, yes.
yeah, I don't find myself like wanting to like hang out. I don't find myself being threatened by any of that. But I also I had to do a lot of work around like setting the boundaries around how I tap in as well. So yeah, it's very matter of fact for me. State your business.
Interesting. I've been told by a psychic medium before that I have a lot of ghosts that hang out around me. They just like my energy for whatever reason.
Yeah, makes sense.
And like it's fine. I'm cool with that as long as they don't bother me.
Yeah, word. That's fair.
Yeah. Like,
Well, it was the knob. It was the volume. So when we turned it up, they could hear everything, and then when I unplugged it, they couldn't hear anything. So.
And then the other end, my aunt would like judge who was like quote unquote more accurate.
I'm sorry to be distracting.
No,
I'm just
you're
getting
fine.
word that people aren't able to hear.
Oh,
oh no.
this whole time. I
It
do,
was
well,
the
I do
knob.
have a story that does relate to tarot, just so we can tie
bring
this
it.
in.
Full circle.
Full circle. So, this is actually like the first like tea and tarot I had with you,
Okay.
and it was Arlie.
Okay.
And Arlie's a great reader in the sense that you
Yes.
never really know what she's going to bring
Mhm.
to an event.
good. So
She's
good.
got like 50,000 everything. And that particular day, she brought a deck that was used specifically to like reach out to ancestry. And I think there was like a lull in the conversation because it was like the first time I met you guys and it was just us 3. And I was just learning tarot, and I think I asked like a silly question, like, what's everyone's favorite card, or like, what's everyone's card on their mind right now? And we went around, and then I shared mine, and I was like, oh, it's the 5 of Swords. She went through her deck, pulled out the 5 of Swords, and the card traditionally means like a very kind of like burn your bridges, highly competitive card, right? And she turns it around, and it's a point of view illustration of you holding a hand of cards, playing a card game with someone else. And immediately I knew the card was about my grandfather who had passed away about a year prior, because he was a very mellow man for the most part, at least grandfather. But when he played cards, he was like comically known for just like how worked up he got.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like oh hey, ciao no no.
Hey,
how's it
Graham.
going?
Ciao.
Yeah, you know, so it was a really cool
That's cute.
interaction. I went home, I told my family, and they thought it was really kind of cute too. So I was like, yeah, Nono says hi.
Aww, that is sweet.
So,
Cute, yeah.
I think I connect with my ancestors when I read cards too. Well, I know I do. And so that's special. That's special for me too.
it is how I got my family to let me read for them. Not so much there's ancestry there, but the familiarity of tarot to the types of card games we play at home is an Italian playing card deck that uses essentially all the minor arcana besides 8 through 9. Or, I'm sorry, 8, 9, 10. And then it's the woman, a knight, and a king. So essentially the queen, knight, king are the cards. Actually, I think in this case it would be the page. So when I brought tarot back home, I was like, I've been studying this. My first question is always, why? And I go, because it's fun. And then I explained, like, you already know these things. Like, you already know these cards, these pictures are familiar to you, or these concepts and these suits are familiar to you. And then my dad specifically will always ask, what can you make money off of this? I go, not exactly the point. But that's just his mindset. But it was really fascinating the day he let me read for him. And he was like, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I was like, yeah, you could take out the cards you don't need and play a game of Briscola or Scoba. So.
Interesting. Yeah, love that. Well, do you feel like you can come back next week and talk about tarot stuff?
I think. I have to double check my
Check
calendar.
your schedule.
Yeah.
We have to
But
do it another
that's it.
night.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
we had a great conversation about tarot that nobody could hear because these ghosts
Turn the volume
messed
down.
with our equipment, we think. And anyway,
Can't be a human error.
yeah,
No.
so instead of our usual live tonight, which you can watch, you just can't hear, we decided to make this little clip just talking about ghosties. So
And maybe we'll re-record the episode next week.
I'll be in France.
Oh yeah.
France.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
What's the time difference there? Can you
6 hours?
Can we zoom you in?
Yeah, wait, what time will it be at 7 o'clock?
I was like, what? 9, 10, 11? Because I know like Italy 6.
Oh, see, I don't even know.
It would be 1 in the morning. 2:22 right now.
Okay. Ooh, I saw that.
Whoa.
Bum bum bum.
I'll stay up. I'll stay up to go
To
let.
toot.
No,
You might be jet lagged. Who
I will
knows?
be
You might be
listen,
awake.
maybe I will be.
Wait, if you want to tune in, we'd love to have you.
All right.
But you just let us know, and you let us know too.
Absolutely. Goodbye.
Bye.